You've probably asked yourself this question before, right? With maybe not just me, but with other YouTubers that you see, are they only doing well because they're on YouTube? Is YouTube driving the traffic and driving all of the sales and the main and only reason why they're actually doing well in their business? And that's such a valid question and something I want to talk about in today's video because I want to share some things that I've never talked about before on this channel. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica with Memory Box Candle Co. And I make videos all about the journey of starting a candle business. And I'm not gonna lie, this video topic has made me insecure for years, up until recently, and I'll tell you why. So when I first got started making candles and subsequently turning it into a candle business, I was also recording and documenting my process of starting the candle business here on YouTube. And what happens naturally when you are putting yourself out there in any way, it's going to naturally be a form of marketing, even if it never intended to be a form of marketing. So when I got started, it was really just to document the process. I thought it'd be really fun. And I started getting more views on those videos than my old like eBay reseller type of content. So I started to just merge over into just candle business, candle making content. And then here we are today. But what I noticed in the beginning is that I got a very different start than a lot of people who are getting started with their candle business. And for the first couple years in business, I mean, there were a lot of times that I was feeling really insecure because I felt like, am I not able to relate to you starting your candle business because I didn't start the same way? And because it didn't take me, months and months to get my first sale. I got my first sale the first day that I launched my business, but that was because I already had people who were following me. So I had my Instagram and my YouTube channel out before I ever actually had my business. So those came first, and then I had my business that I was working on and documenting my process of starting my business. But what it was people who were also interested in getting started with a candle business or other handmade makers, friends and family, that kind of stuff, that were purchasing from me for, those first couple weeks of having my Etsy shop open. So when I launched my Etsy shop, I got sales that day because I was already on YouTube documenting and sharing my process. Now, what I started feeling after a little while was I was feeling insecure because although I really appreciated people who were following my content here on YouTube and purchasing from me who were also interested in getting started with a candle business, I started feeling insecure that I was reaching the wrong audience. Like, these were not my customer. The people who are watching this channel, if you're also having a candle business, you're not my intended customer with my candle business, although it's really nice to have that support, and I have appreciated it so much. I mean, the amount of comments that I would get in the notes section, purchasing from me saying, hey, I watch your YouTube, I love it, I just want to support you. And it's so grateful for that. But after a little while, I was feeling super insecure because I'm like, okay, I'm definitely not in the market for selling to other candle makers. And of course, it wasn't just candle makers purchasing from me. It was friends and family and word of mouth and all that kind of stuff. Friends of friends and, how that typically works, also posting on Instagram. But I had felt in my heart and how I was feeling that I didn't want the only reason why we were being successful with the business and having sales was strictly from YouTube. Like, I wanted it to be to where if YouTube went away, we were still doing well with the business. And obviously that's taken a little bit to build up. And also in the process, I was learning business. Like, I had dabbled in other business ventures, but I wasn't like a business expert. And because of the boom of 2020 that I talked about in my more recent video, I felt this immense amount of pressure to be this expert that everybody was looking at me as, and buying my candles to see how they perform to get like the perfect, candle performance. And it was a lot of pressure at that time to feel like, okay, I'm still learning. I'm still trying to figure this out. Yes, I'm documenting this, but I feel like it's putting so much pressure on me that people are like, I feel like I had all these eyes staring at me as I'm trying to learn something and I'm trying to be perfect at it. And it was just a lot of pressure at that time. And I had many, many times where I was just trying to reevaluate my business and myself and how YouTube fell within everything, because it is unique to have a YouTube channel and also a business. And when you're looking at other YouTubers that also have a business, you do have to take that into account when they are sharing numbers, when they are sharing sales, because it does play a role in the success of a business. Because anytime you put yourself out there, it's a form of marketing. So having Memory Box Candle Co. as my YouTube name, having that be found by so many people, and again, it's not just other people who are aspiring candle business owners or candle makers that are finding me. I have a lot of people who comment, who say things like, I don't make candles, I don't do any of this, but I just love watching your channel. And I've done that with other YouTubers as well, who they have a channel that's not really related to their business, but I end up supporting them because I like them. So it is a form of marketing. So just know that when you're watching people and you're seeing them talk about numbers and sales and all that kind of stuff, that anytime you put yourself out there, it is going to give you a higher probability of driving traffic to your website. I would say the majority of my traffic to my website comes from YouTube. And again, this is from people, all different kinds of people: candle makers, aspiring candle business owners, soap makers, random people just finding my channel. You know, like, you never know who's going to be finding you. And then the other part of the traffic is Instagram, and then local markets, which we haven't been doing as much anymore. But I remember the first local market we did, and I was feeling insecure about the whole, like, you know, I'm super appreciative of all these sales coming in, but I never knew what sales were coming in from just because I was on YouTube, or what sales were coming in that, you know, I was actually driving traffic from them finding me on Instagram, or word of mouth of somebody told somebody about our business, that kind of thing. It's hard to know where the customer is coming from unless you have a way to ask them, which I've actually been looking into that as like a post-purchase question. You know, how did you hear about us? Because that's really important for marketing efforts, to know where people are finding you. So yeah, our first local market was amazing. It was great to actually see customers in person, know that they were just random people, had never heard of us before, loved our product, talking to us in person about it. And it was this feeling that was just so, it was like, oh my gosh, like, yes, I can do it. It's like this whole time I've been trying to chase, am I actually an entrepreneur? Or am I just somebody on YouTube and people are just buying just to support me because I have a channel? Like, that has been something that has been in the back of my mind for years. And I know that may seem kind of like, well, Erica, isn't a sale? But yes, but the reason on YouTube is not for me to sell you my candles. It's to share, teach, educate, and document this whole process. And I have had people, you know, purchase and want to support. And again, I'm super appreciative of that. But what I've also learned is that since we've kind of gotten into wholesale and white labeling, that my YouTube channel has kind of been more helpful for that, in terms of who we're actually trying to sell our candles to. I've had a few people find us through YouTube who are retailers who want to get our candles in their retail shop. So that's something to think about with having a YouTube channel. And that's something I have planned. I've been wanting to make videos, it'll probably take multiple videos, of how I make YouTube videos for my candle business, and how I've structured it, and how I film, and how I go about planning, you know, videos, and how I come up with video ideas. That's something that I could make content of. I know that a lot of you have asked about that, because again, anybody can do this. Anybody can sit in front of their phone, press record, and yeah, it's going to take you a little bit to not feel like you're like having no idea what to say and it's super awkward, just to be like how I am right now, where I feel like I'm just talking to somebody right now. It's not awkward, it's not weird. I'm looking at a camera lens, but yet it feels like I'm talking to you through the screen. It just becomes super normal. And so what I have learned, especially in the past year, since Fair has done really well, wholesale has done really well, and I've kind of felt so much more secure in my business knowledge, in what our goals are, in what we're doing. it just has changed everything in how I view YouTube. Because again, I was really insecure for the longest time, you know, thinking, is this just something that I'm being successful at or making sales from just because of YouTube? Like, I want to be able to separate the two. They're definitely connected, but I want to be able to separate the two to where if I didn't have YouTube, I still had my business. And so when we joined Fair, and I didn't post about it, I didn't make any video content about it for a little bit. Actually, I think it was just a couple weeks, but I didn't say like I was going to be on. I wasn't advertising. And all of a sudden, like, we got all of these sales during the summer market, and then we kept getting more sales and kept getting more sales. And I knew it was where we stood on the Fair platform in terms of rankings and all that kind of stuff, SEO and however that works on the Fair platform. And you know that because you can tell when Fair brings you the customer versus when it's 0% commission when we bring the customer, which I would prefer that. But because we were getting all of these sales from Fair bringing it to us, it was just this like realization that I actually may possibly be a good business owner and may actually be good at what, you know, I'm doing, because I didn't want to create content on here talking about how to be a successful business, how to get sales, how to do all this, and then have it be to where I'm only getting sales because I'm on YouTube, and just having this like backwards logic that doesn't make any sense that so many people are doing online. Not to say like within the candle business, but you know what I mean. The people online who are selling how to make money because they've made money by selling the information on how to make money. Like this like schemy, scammy circle kind of thing. And that's why I never wanted to make any kind of courses in the first couple years on YouTube, even though that was my peak. That was like the top performing of subscribers and views and all that kind of stuff. And I could have easily put out some kind of course that I just threw together and sold and probably made a lot of money, but I didn't want to do that because I didn't feel comfortable in sharing that knowledge until I actually lived it myself. Until I actually did it myself, I didn't want to put out content like that. So even now, the course and digital products that I have, all of that information is because I've personally done it myself, and I personally have gotten success with it. And you know, with us being on Fair, I share all of this information because this is what we are doing and what I found to work. And when I created my first course, which is my shipping course, I felt the most comfortable doing that because that was something that I had already been doing for years on eBay, and I knew it like the back of my hand. It was something that I could teach anybody how to ship and price and understand all of the shipping services. So doing that as my first kind of paid course product was a lot easier than trying to do this huge, you know, candle business course in 2020 or 2021 just because it was, you know, just because I was doing really well on YouTube. It didn't feel right with me. And I'm like, I am not qualified for this. And finally, I'm feeling more like I'm qualified. I'm feeling more like I have way more knowledge of personal lived experience in this business because we are coming up on, no, we just passed 4 years. I was gonna say, we're coming up on 5 years. It's not that close yet. March will be 5 years, so we're still a little ways away. But it's been over 4 years in business, and we've experienced a lot of things. We've done a lot of things. We're growing a lot more in the areas that we want to grow. And it's made me feel a lot more confident. So this whole back and forth with YouTube of how I've felt, where I'm so grateful for the support and the platform to have this form of marketing in a way for my candle business, it was never intended for that. So it was this kind of weird mindset switch of, you know, trying to just figure out how to keep things going when I felt like maybe YouTube was the only reason why I was getting sales. It was kind of, it made me feel like super inadequate of a business owner. Like, wow, I'm only making sales because I have a YouTube channel and my target market, the people that I'm trying to sell to, I'm not reaching them, but they're still buying from me because they want to support me. So it was this kind of weird weird circle of thoughts that I had going on. And I didn't want to talk about it for the longest time because I was super embarrassed. I'm like, I just don't want anybody to think that I'm, I'm thinking that I'm making, how do I put this? Like, I never wanted to come across like a know-it-all, like an expert. I've said for the longest time, I'm not an expert. Please, this is just, me trying things out. I'm not wanting to do the whole fake it till you make it, to where you're just trying to show that you know everything just so you can sell things to people. Like, I genuinely this whole time have wanted to just be able to teach and educate and share. And the more that I've done that, the more I've grown and learned along the way. Because you learn a lot in 4 years in business. I mean, I know we still have a long ways away and to learn, and I don't know how long this, our candle business is going to last for, hopefully a long time. But 4 years compared to the first year has felt way more comfortable. I felt way more comfortable, confident, and to where, because of everything that's going on with YouTube, which I will have that linked above. If you didn't see that video did really well, ironically, considering how, views have been kind of down lately. But that video did really well. Yeah, so, this is just something that when you see people on YouTube and you see them have businesses and you see them talk about things, you have to take into account that they have a platform that is marketing. And you have to do the same with me. But I will say, when it comes to Fair, I'm very proud of that, because I think that 90 to 95% of the sales that we've gotten on that platform have not come from YouTube. And I think that that may possibly be one of the most proudest things that I have felt in my business thus far. And that may seem silly, and you may seem like, Erica, what? I don't know. I'm just sharing this because I don't know. I just have felt the need to talk about it. And one last thing I want to say before I cut this video off, because this video is already going to be super long. So I was interviewed by Business Insider back in 2020, and we talked about income. And I remember there was a bunch of questions that this interviewer asked me. And when the article finally came out, I was so taken aback and I was so embarrassed, because the title was something like, YouTuber makes more money from ad revenue than she does from her candle business, or something like that. And it was just this, like, I don't know, the title, it just rubbed me the wrong way. It was not at all really what we had talked about that much in the interview. And it was just something that I just felt really like, it was just like an icky feeling. I didn't want to share about it. There was a few people that had reached out to me like, oh my God, I saw your article in Business Insider. But I just felt like, man, that's just going to make me look like I'm only doing my candle business to make money on YouTube. Like, that's just what that screamed to me. And I didn't want to share it, talk about it. And eventually I think they actually ended up changing the title without me even saying anything. But I just remember the feeling after that and being like, I am not going to do any more interviews. And I haven't. I haven't done any interviews that require a phone conversation. I've only done interviews where they send me the question over email and I type it out so they have a direct actual like quote that I said that I wrote out. So yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to throw that in there because I felt like it was relevant. It's been a different experience with being on YouTube and simultaneously running a business at the same time. Obviously, it's done a lot of good. Overall, it's been really good. But it's been this kind of confusing roller coaster of emotions kind of thing. So I hope you understand what I've been getting at in this video. I know I just kind of feel like I'm just, sharing a journal entry right now, which I'll probably put journal entry or video journal entry. I think I put that in some videos. But yeah, I just wanted to share that because I think it's an important topic to talk about and be transparent on, because it's just kind of the nature of being on YouTube and being online, and you do have to question that when you're feeling yourself. Maybe, you're watching somebody and you're like, man, they're doing really, really well. And you also have to be like, okay, but they also have this big marketing video platform on YouTube. And again, you can do it as well. You can definitely start a YouTube channel. So be on the lookout for some videos on that soon, because I've always wanted to talk about that on my channel. But with that, I am going to end today's video right here. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave it a big thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram at MemoryBoxCandleCo, and I will see you in my next video.